Okay. This is, for special benefits.
Oh. Okay.
There you go. Thanks. Yeah.
All right, let's call this meeting to order. Please call the roll.
Little, here, Boyle, Sliz, Rosso,
Here.
and Rice.
Here.
No, because we hadn't done it.
Yeah.
It's on too.
Okay. Well, let's go through the agenda first, and there's quite a few things. Throwing things in.
I can't vote yet.
Council on the minutes? Let's see, Tyler's bills. Oh, that's what we need bills.
I need bills. Where is it?
Okay, resolution number 3. And just for anyone who doesn't know, I know Richard knows, this is only the beginning. We do this resolution first, and it puts it out there. It has to lay on the table for a 10-day period, be reviewed. So this just,
I'll take it.
Caffeine.
we're gonna get it.
I'll make it.
You got a second on this?
Yeah. All it really does is it's just gonna, Parks is already there. It's just moving rec over with Parks into DPW. Right. It doesn't change the organizational structure. It's still, the director with the senior rec leader and everything. It just puts it under the DPW superintendent. Number 4.
I'll take it.
Now, we still have to deal with the salary for that position. We're still gonna have to set that salary for the rec director.
I'll take 5.
That's just temporarily freezing.
This is just, right, this is just for the interim. So Blake took 5, then we got a couple change orders for Spalding.
What's this one do?
Grading.
I thought we did that. I thought that was already in there.
No, we did as much as we could under the shared service agreement, but
Right.
there was still a lot of material to move, so
I thought we did that last meeting.
I don't think so.
Verbal okayed it, this is
Right.
actual.
Right,
So that they could.
I'll take that.
I'll take 7.
All right, now this 55,000, where's this one going? The sidewalk replacement, where else?
Hasn't been decided yet. But she's-
Now, is this only the 55? I mean, we're going
It's out of
we're
his-
going more than 55, right?
It's out of his budget. I think his budget is what, 75?
Which is still,
70?
Just terrible.
Okay, the 55 down to 70.
total savings on 50 million. And then build it up to 80 million. So we're up to 199, we're up to, 2 years ago, we did what, 200,000, right? Oh, you got that one, Kevin?
Yeah, I have seven.
I think Blake should get the safety seat.
I'll take that one. Why is this one rescinded? We just don't like this guy?
He didn't qualify.
He doesn't qualify for commissioner deed.
Can you just put the section in here?
Hmm?
Put the section in here that he doesn't qualify into the resolution.
All right.
I think it's still 93.
139, sub 3. Of the executive.
What would you call it? What kind of qualifications do you need?
Well, it's kind of strange because I've had people circling for me, I would have been rejected a long time ago.
You're
And a lot of other people, Glenn Island, filed for bishop deeds, and they're approved, and nothing ever happens to get to the board of elections. and they get supported.
Really? Wow.
So I think we ought to put on an application that they could be either a resident or have business in the city to serve the whole.
That's, yeah,
Within
that's,
the city.
right.
We
And
don't have it.
we're gonna do that. We have to do that, because all we do right now is basically just get that across from that.
We've had West Seneca people do it.
We've got a lot of people, quite a lot of people.
We did all our businesses here.
Okay, now you're gonna have to go one more time.
The only difference
We need our
is
stamps.
get your commissioner deeds in Buffalo, I think it's good for the whole county.
Yeah.
Because I think we should read it.
So who's taking them?
There should be more to this.
Oh, I don't know, who wants to take me? All right,
That's not enough.
number 10, block party.
Sitting on it.
Back and forth.
There was a whole mess of these, so. 11,
I'll take it.
Richard, 12, Richard, 13, 8, 14, 15, 16,
What's the amount of the contract that you're opening?
There's no fixed amount, it's just as needed.
It could be $1 million, right? Is this for the building or something?
It could be, well, the Webster Zani, that is primarily for labor relations work. For example, we're negotiating right now a potential policy on injured on duty. There's some workers' comp cases that are in dispute. So it's,
Okay, I was on vacation last week. There are no bills. It's the next meeting.
Oh,
You know, I was thinking that, but I
didn't
thought
do the
maybe I
agenda because I was on
would just.
vacation, so excuse
Man.
me.
okay. Let's just take that one right out of there.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll take it. We're up to 16. I'll give you. So we'll work this out.
I'll take 16.
$17. And we do have executive, which I'll take. We'll see if we can get it done before we go in. Okay. Just a note on the
special events fee. The question was raised whether or not we should look at doing something different with that charge, because it is an issue for a lot of people. You have to pay that $25. Like if they have overtime, should we just deduct it from the overtime, and then for everyone else, should we just give it back after the event? Well, one of the reasons the main reason for the whole application process is so that our departments can look at whatever the event is, make sure that there's no issues, tell us about the overtime that they would incur, things like that. I'm just throwing this out. I don't know if it's something people even want to consider. But, you know, the thought was that if they have overtime, we just take it, you know, that's part of the overtime, the 25. And if they don't have overtime, we give it back.
How much has been brought in on this? Who's complaining about it? Is it people that are filling out for this?
Yeah. And I'm not talking about everybody, I'm talking about for the city events. Like if you're in the city, if you're a city.
Well, city resident, I have no problem.
Right, I'm talking about, I should have clarified, I'm sorry.
Okay.
If you're in the city.
I mean, like, ride for Roswell?
No,
They do
no,
that.
I'm talking about like if, you know, whether it be,
The merchants.
or Lindy's Legacy, or the Walk, the Hawk Walk, you know, things like that. Things that are actually within the city. It's just something to consider whether or not we want to look at alternatives.
What if they cost overtime, goes towards that, because we cost overtime, it's a security deposit.
Maybe we should just reduce it to $10 with the hardship.
I don't know if it's so much of a hardship as it is, you know, what am I paying this $25 for?
What are other places?
Well, I think you just said what you pay the $25 for, so that each department had to look it over.
There's a lot of time
I
involved.
mean, how many $25 are we talking about for a whole year?
There's a lot.
How many we passed you?
So,
There's a lot of them.
a couple grand that you're gonna,
I don't know the exact amount, but it adds up. I mean, you know.
Why don't we get some more information for the next meeting?
Okay.
And somebody, next meeting.
What?
I'm not where I am with the last.
Well, can't ask Joe a question, because Joe's not here to ask a question.
Not all, or just one?
No, I'm assuming he'll be here usually, yes, unless he didn't tell you anything, did he? Unless you know, Sam, has Joe, or Raz, Joe talked to you about that GASB 54? That's that fund balance policy?
No, I
'Cause
haven't talked to him recently.
that's one of the things we have to do, and I didn't know where Joe was at with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I've talked to him about GASB 45, which is a unfunded liability for, other than salary benefits in post-retirement, but,
Okay. I don't know if everybody remembers, but that's a new requirement of the state that we have an actual policy on our fund balance. So we have to put that into, that was brought up when Wayne was here. After doing the audit. You know, Sam, do you remember, what did we say we were gonna do with renaming Gibson and James? I mean, I know we're gonna leave the name the same,
right.
but,
We just need to get a legal, a meets and bounds, basically, right, Ron? I mean, think that's what we need? That's what you need for a resolution? And I don't think we have that documentation.
I think that Jason can do it for
No, I think he's contacted Wendell about
us. Okay.
a cost for that work, but we need that. Ron needs that as far as the rights of way. And then once we have that, we can get a formal resolution on the agenda
cause we
formally.
better get going.
Yeah, yeah. You'd actually, I think, be formally amending the official map of city streets by adding those.
Now, I didn't see it in traffic and safety's minutes, did any of you guys see it where they're looking at what we proposed for the stop signs? I didn't
Stop
see,
signs?
well,
No,
remember,
oh, no, not for that, not for children.
if you could send a note to traffic and safety, you guys gotta refresh my memory here as we go. We said it's gonna be one way from James, from the end of James up to Dodge. It's gonna be one way. And then there's gonna be a stop sign,
Gibson, you mean, Carl.
did I say
No, you said James.
Gibson? Well, you'd be on Gibson, so it's one way on Gibson between James and Dodge. Right.
Entering and from,
And coming in. So you'd be traveling
South.
from Dodge to James on Gibson.
I'll find out right now if they did that.
I don't think so, because it's not in the minutes. And then we'd put a stop sign at Gibson and James on the, which side do we say, on the north side.
What was that?
We'd stop them coming in on the one way,
Correct.
but not coming up. We didn't say anything about stopping them coming up from Hackett.
No,
Just coming in on the one way, they'd have to stop.
from James coming into where the T is at the new Gibson. The stop sign there.
Right, so that Gibson is free flowing.
Right.
So that would be on the,
You know something though, then you're gonna also have to look at a stop sign, you're gonna have to look at a stop sign in Dodge. Because you're gonna have Dodge coming up with Gibson going straight through. It's gonna be,
CRT.
why don't you do this? Just tell them to look at the intersection of Dodge and Gibson and James. Just do it that way. It'll be easier that way.
We done with that there.
Let them,
I like that.
let them look at what they think's gonna make the most sense. Because you're right, Blake, you do have to have a stop sign.
Yep.
Otherwise,
yeah, you're gonna have free for all.
yeah, it'll just let everybody go. Okay.
And we are gonna, there already is no truck weight limit, so we know that there not gonna be no trucks coming in on the other side.
Carl,
Yes,
if I could.
yeah.
I think in conjunction with that, and I don't know if this is, it just occurred to me, as far as the official truck route of the city, we ought to look at that as well. Because New Gibson and New James, if those are to be added to the truck route, we ought to do that as well.
Yeah, because coming out, Hackett is considered a truck route, because you have that welding place right there.
The one thing you wanna make sure is you're absolutely trying to limit the amount of trucks that are going into the neighborhoods.
And you are gonna, you do have trucks right now going down Wheeler, because they have deliveries to TC Wheelers and that sign place right down the street from them, so that's part of it. Then you're gonna have to add truck routes down New Gibson and New James. Correct?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, we really don't want anybody coming down Gibson with trucks.
No, what I'm saying though is, I think that Sam's saying also,
You don't want,
you have Hackett, you have New Gibson, and it narrows down to one way. You have New James coming in here. This is gonna be considered truck route.
How far?
To where, you said right to where that spot is.
Right, that's what we're saying, they can't go into the,
No, so this is truck route and that's truck route.
right.
And what Sam's saying is you have to designate this as part of a truck
Right, for
route
the-
in New James.
with a V and T.
Probably all of New James will be in the truck route,
Right.
Yes,
and all of New Gibson south of
James.
James.
Of New James.
Right. You would not want New Gibson between, north of New James in the truck route. You try and limit as much as you can.
Look at the chief sitting here going, what the frig is New James and New Gibson?
So the trucks are not going into the neighborhood.
To Gibson.
And they're driving
And then Gibson
Somebody driving
from
that.
Hackett to James.
I don't think they should bring this through. How are they gonna do this?
Dick said you were supposed to meet with traffic and
No,
safety
they're
a
gonna
month
have to,
ago.
because it's the only way they're gonna get in. They gotta have a way to get in.
About this?
So it's just,
So this is what they need.
yeah.
Anytime they're ready.
Yeah. They meet,
Wheeler's not pretty good.
stop
right at the business. There's already two
Tell them to
businesses
call
on
them.
Wheeler that receive shipments anyways.
Okay. Anything else with Spalding? What, without Jason here, I can't ask Jason. What's the status with the shoreline? Where are we at?
A couple things. The city was approved for, $250,000.
Right, we know that.
And the plan is, to, start construction in around September and complete all of the work this construction season with the exception of the vegetation, for obvious reasons.
So we have a plan with
Yes.
the Army Corps and the DEC
Yes,
and everything.
yeah, and it took a while to get them to
So
sign off.
they finally signed up.
Yeah,
That's what I really wanted to know, is if they signed
we've
up.
addressed all the snail darter stuff.
What are we doing? What are they doing? Are they using pylons? Are they using some stone or what?
I don't think there's pilings.
How about big chunks of concrete
No, there's not big chunks of concrete.
with
We got
rebar?
another under 250 available
Yes,
to continue.
yes, so it's a
Has that
total,
been approved?
yes. And we submitted our work plan, to the community foundation. It basically manages the money for the greenway. They've signed off, and, I think we sent some documentation on some of the expenses we've incurred for design to get the first draw. They like to do this in 3 draws, so they give the first, and then once we can document, once we're under construction and submit pay applications from the contractor, we would get the second draw and then the third.
Where are we starting from?
Back here. And it's like 1,400 feet,
Yeah,
And that leaves us with how much?
about 3,600.
yeah.
Because it's just about a mile down the shoreline.
1,400. How far does it take us down? Any idea?
To
Just
the
14?
dock.
I think around the dock.
Yeah. So I mean, if you go down by the dock, you're hitting a lot of where people are going. Right?
Right.
You're gonna take away my rebar that when I was 12 years old I used to carry on the dock. See how you guys are?
We're gonna use that for a museum.
Looks good, right, too? Will freeze your body. Push a little head in.
Where are we at with, I thought you sent out an RFP for the pavilion for naming.
We haven't sent, there's a couple of major companies that have asked for them. They're reviewing them now. The RFP's prepared, as is the RFP to manage the facility, but we wanted to get it towards close to a final stage so we can, a pre-response.
So people could come in and,
They're gonna get a whole different, I think, level of interest once they can see.
How are we with that? Are we starting the inside yet?
Yes,
no, yeah.
Really? Yeah, stone? Did they start?
I'm putting that on, by the end of the week. right now, if you go down there, you'll see the center section is been sided.
Okay. Inside all that?
Now, it's, all the drywall's up, none of your outlets have to be buttoned up, all the kitchen stuff is still have to be, installed. A lot of the painting's in there already.
All the furniture, we've identified under state contract,
Right.
so all that's been ordered. We've identified all the equipment needs. Have gotten bids from 4 companies for the equipment. We just wanna verify that one of the ovens doesn't contain a convection oven, which would mean we wouldn't have to order a convection oven separate. And we're pretty much ready to go. We got all the quotes.
So when you're saying, all the hardware and stuff like that, you talk to silverware and everything?
Not silver, but
I mean,
chairs,
are we gonna supply that?
yeah.
So are there gonna be, no?
I think it's gonna be limited,
Yeah,
Okay.
because
I mean,
that's
caterer
it.
usually brings
it's,
Yeah,
the furniture's basically
Sure.
15 round tables, 5 foot in diameter, 150 chairs. Chairs for the outside, tables for the outside, some umbrellas for the outside. Rectangular 72-inch tables for like buffets and head table for wedding. So,
How's the lock gonna be? Are they gonna do it with like a swipe card when it changes?
I don't
Understand what I'm
think
saying?
so.
Like,
I forget,
You know what the hotels that they're good
Yeah.
for a day and then, I guess it'd be.
no, I think it's keyed.
Really?
Yeah, I'd have to look at the spec.
It's key coded,
Yeah,
let's go.
so we can change the code.
yeah.
Mandy had gotten into that a long time, actually a couple months ago.
Kinda like the harbor bathrooms, where you can change the code on a daily basis, so they can give them a code and then go in the next day and change it, so that they don't have access after that time.
But you have to remember too, if we have a management company, they're the ones that are gonna control it.
Right.
Anything else on the pavilion?
I'm gonna go back to 16.
16, is it the 16 or is it the new 15?
Yeah, I've never heard of it. And most attorneys that are labor lawyers. What is it?
Which,
Webster?
Webster's Zine.
the attorney we would be working with is Brian Doyle.
Brian Doyle, former sheriff?
Yes.
Now, why don't we put a max on how much spend on these things? Definitely. I mean, this is open ended. It'll go on forever.
Dick, it's always been open-ended, anytime we brought in consultants for legal, always
Well, how
been
much
that
do
way.
you pay an hour then?
Do what each law firm has independent, retainer agreements that they provide to me. And the hourly rate varies depending on the service, depending on, who in the law firm handles it. And, that's how it works.
But they have a maximum rate.
Yeah, there's max rates. Webster Zani's max rate is, I think, 180 or 185, which is low, which is actually below the market.
On the second one, Tabanaki and Cook. And that's to do with
Real estate documentation,
all to do
paperwork.
with Italy.
It could be, but it's also Spalding. As we're doing development contracts, land sale contracts, option agreements, all of those things.
There's no hourly rates.
Yeah,
There's an hourly rate on that one.
I don't have an hourly rate on Kevin O'Dean's list because, I haven't had any past experience with him personally. But I know that Sam's done business with this firm before. And one of the lawyers that we're interested in is somebody that Sam's had, business transactions with for years.
we're only gonna use this when absolutely necessary, but like on the labor stuff, in PBA negotiations, they demanded that we negotiate a policy to handle management of 207 A and C, which is injured on duty. It's a very specialized area of law. It's a mandatory subject of negotiations. We cannot say we don't want to talk to them. And Herb has determined it's something that can be brought to interest arbitration. So, you know, getting help in negotiating that is, it's just very specialized. We'll only use it when we need it, but sometimes if you don't have the right
Who
assistance.
Who decides when we need it?
I have some input, I think Ron has input, the mayor obviously
Just so
does.
you know, Webster Zani, when I became city attorney, I started doing, actually, they were here before I was city attorney.
We're doing all the
They
job stuff.
they did a lot of the negligence actions. I've been doing business with this law firm for like, since I've been city attorney and before.
Well, it's always been Webster County since I've been there.
So these are people that we've always had. And just so you know, as far as the real estate, I've done everything for the city as far as real estate for the past 17 years. This is just specialized areas that we're talking about. So this is the first time we've ever brought any real estate attorney in to do anything for the city since I've been here.
Oh, so Ron, Jan was supposed to get that application from the Butler News for the commissioner. Did you get it yet? Well, when you get it, we want to do a resolution making that a practice for application for commissioner.
We ought to be talking about it.
Okay. I was going to. Yeah. What about the property back here?
The RFP's out, responses are due September 15th.
15.
Oh, there's Joseph. Joe,
Hi.
the only question I had for you, that GASB 54, that's that fund
Right,
balance policy.
right.
Where are you at with it?
Probably for the next meeting.
Okay. That was good. You said the 15th for the plan.
Yeah, and purposely gave the respondents a good amount of time. I think it ended up being about 10 weeks. It just gives them more time to prepare a well thought out proposal rather than something that's half-baked. We have gotten calls based on the public notice that was put out, but we also provided council a list of 20-some firms that would be capable. I think we sent that out.
Yeah.
And so that hasn't changed much. We've updated it as calls have come in, so if you want to see an updated list, it's in the office.
Are you gonna cut down to a short list?
Yeah,
And then before, they're gonna come in and do a presentation?
I think when it gets down to a short list, I don't think you want a presentation from
Every 2
No,
12
no.
firms.
No,
but-
but I'm
but
saying a
3,
short list.
4, yes,
Yes.
definitely. And then, sorry, I'm thinking of something else.
The planning and zoning, what happened with that?
It's in a black hole. It's, well, one of the members, key members
I
is,
know.
and, but nothing's really happened, and we need to get that moving.
Brian, did you have anything?
I'm gonna make a motion to go to executive for discussion of negotiations.
Hey, Carol, before you do, real quick, I just wanna let you know, for the board, I met today with Steve Perry, the new business manager for the school district, along with Paul Maziarz, the facilities manager, and we talked about a number of things, but we specifically also talked about Luxon and the issue over at the small stadium. And we're going to probably set up a meeting with those two folks, along with Ron, yourself, and the mayor, or whatever, to go through it. They have every intention of leaving small stadium open, and they're going to create it as a soccer complex, because they're losing soccer fields with the new football stadium, which means we need to get the property descriptions different, because you've seen how it's split up. So I don't think there's going to be any issues on that, and certainly they want to have Amanda there also, because they want to see what her needs are and stuff like that. So they're just going to use me as the facilitator. I'll communicate out to everybody. And Luxon, there is certainly an interest in them disposing of that. We just have to figure out how we want to handle it, you know.
As long as they're giving it to us, I'm all good.
Yeah, well, I think what they're going to attempt to do is sell the one strip that has Luxon frontage to the person who lives there next to it. The strip behind the church, they're going to sell it to the church, because it appears part of the church's parking lot's already on it. And then we would get the triangle where the playground is.
How are you gonna get back to the,
No access.
right, how are you gonna get to the playground if you sell off
We
the land?
we own the piece where the walkway is. That's our piece.
Oh,
So there's a big chunk. You got the church, the little strip, two houses, and we have a piece with about 40 foot of frontage that ties into the walkway over Twin Cities, and that would be your access to the playground, which I think is what they're using now anyway, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they want to. I guess the neighbor that sits between the church and that house has already contacted him. He wants to buy that 20 foot. That kind of is that little strip that comes out and has Luxon. So, but they're going to sit. I'm going to get them in contact with the right folks and go from there.
Before you go to executive, you know DOT's gonna be redoing twisting petition them to look at open Luxon.
You can, but they're not gonna pay for it. That was the problem we had before.
No, but they were talking about a cost of $250,000 to reopen this. That was their estimate.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to believe, because,
Because now's the time to do it.
yeah,
The biggest problem that we'd have to deal with them is the light.
Right. 'Cause I don't know, what time do you come back? What time do you come back? Do you ever come off Colvin at 5 o'clock? That place is a total disaster with people trying to turn in there. I think it's, I don't know how anybody else feels about it, but I think that will,
we had inquired about that. It's gotta be I-60.
yeah, exactly. Now it's the time to do it. So now they're gonna be doing the street.
I felt then, they still feel $250,000 to put a road back to where it was to begin with. All you really gonna have to do is tear the barriers down and repave. Light should be a minor issue.
But can't we do that in-house then?
Oh, we could, but you
And I
have
have
to
a lot
get their
cheaper.
approval, that's their intersection. Everything you do at that intersection, it's like Seymour Street. Everything on that intersection belongs to New York State.
But didn't they give us the direction to go ahead and do it?
You know, blessing, as long as you follow our rules.
Right, I mean, because there's already a left-hand turn down there.
The thing is that I'm not sure what it even does. I'm not.
I think you get a lot of people coming off, not only going to BJ's and the Tops and stuff like that. You look at a lot of people coming off to go by the Mullen area. They live in that Mullen area, they come off of Colvin, hang a left, go up to Syracuse and just look on down there. This way, if they were able to come down, hang a left on Luxon, take the back way around.
Almost like a pressure relief.
Yeah.
With the light on the Twin City Memorial, that'll be the big issue, is getting the light set just right.
That would be entirely up to them.
No, that's what I'm
Everything
saying.
there is.
You know, we have a
I
high,
mean, They give them clout now.
We have a hard enough time, that light at, Fillmore.
TC Lansing is all
It's,
night.
it's like a 5-second light if you're on Fillmore. I have to hope you're the first car at the light, cause you're not gonna make it. And then it stays green forever.
Correct.
Alright, so,
Second.
to be for negotiations, for personnel, particular